everybody, this is Dee at Aloha Astro. Let's take a look at the full moon forecast. Full moon in Leo, January 28th, 2021, and it's occurring in that fixed fire sign on Thursday the 28th at 2:16 p.m. at 9 degrees 6 minutes of Leo. So let's see what I've written here. Full moon in Leo, Thursday, January 28th, gives you the courage to take actions on your dreams in the face of challenge and supports you in defending yourself against external influences or attack as the fiery moon forms a tense fixed T-square with the Sun conjunct Jupiter in Aquarius and Mars conjunct Uranus in Taurus. Chiron in self-aware Aries sextile to the Sun and Jupiter and trine to the Moon indicates that sticking up for yourself is the right thing to do. And while the T-square could place you at odds with other people and their view of who you should or shouldn't be, it is likely that arguments or breakups can be taking place now and for the next 2 weeks until the new moon of February 11th in Aquarius ushers in the energy of detachment and tolerance for individual differences. The current conjunction, I dropped the ION there, of Venus and Pluto in Capricorn increases passion around attachments, especially surrounding anything we have had or known for a long time that might be lost through this season of enormous change. On the plus side, Venus and Pluto increases your willpower and determination to be successful, no matter what. As Mercury in Aquarius turns retrograde from January 30th to February 21st, you are faced with decisions about your friendships, your online social presence, and your alignment with larger groups and organizations. Your own changing views can alter relationship dynamics, and this full moon illuminates the discord and the disconnect. Now you must determine which things can be reworked or which should be released. And although the present T-square can feel harsh, it does reveal where your energy is either wasted or utilized and rewarded. All right, let's take a look at the actual chart and what's going on up there in the sky. And as I looked out my window late this afternoon to close the blinds as it got dark, I could see that huge moon coming up over there in Leo, and it does make that opposition to the Sun, and the Sun is tightly joined with Jupiter at 9 degrees in Aquarius, and they both square. The Moon and the Sun are forming that T-square here, this red triangle, with the planet Uranus, which is about instability, change. It can also be genius or basically restless energy that supports uniqueness, freedom, individuality. Sometimes when it's under extreme pressure, as it is here, it's about radical energy or sudden reactivity to things. And when we have volatile Mars paired with it, Mars is very action-oriented. So it may be that people are in your face, or you're getting in other people's faces, or you suddenly realize you're not comfortable in a particular group, or maybe a certain group is not comfortable with you. So breakups, firings, quittings, all of that energy is possible under this T-square. And the moon is in a very dramatic and courageous, heart-centered sign. So people are more likely to be acting on their impulses. Even if it seems extreme right now, it is actually going to be more authentic. It's more about what you can tolerate or what somebody else can tolerate and what they cannot. And finally, truth can be revealed, or the true nature of somebody may show under this energy that does create a lot of pressure for being authentic, for reacting and responding to changes, for perhaps finding the courage to change if it's time for some change. Chiron's well aspected in here and helps with doing what is actually going to lead to healing eventually in the long run, or whatever is going to be best for you is probably the better choice. I would not modify yourself too much for anybody else at this juncture right now. It is more about what is right for you. And there is a weak energy exchange going on between Mercury 26 Aquarius and the North Node in Gemini. The North Node right now is square to Neptune and quincunx mildly to Venus and Pluto in Capricorn. Don't lose your faith. The main thing is just keep at it. Keep going toward what you hope to achieve. Sometimes the path is not always clear when we have some Neptune distortion going on, and we have a dual path here, or more than one option with the North Node in Gemini. So sometimes you have to choose literally between lesser of two evils, or sometimes you might not even be able to understand or see how you are creating your reality or changing your future by the choices that you are making. You might not be sure if you're actually in alignment with your purpose right now. All of that may be changing. There's a lot of breaking away from what was and moving toward what will be. And we have two different things going on here with Capricorn. A lot of passion right now with Venus and Pluto in Capricorn, and a desire for having it be the way you want it to be, or holding on to what might have always been. And if those things that have always been are now changing, you have to adapt and adjust to that. It can help with willpower, but you also have to discern, figure out where are you wasting your time? Are you wasting your energy? Is it better to let somebody go? Is it better to just get over something and move on? Or some people may be looking at perhaps coming to the end of a job or a business, and on the one hand maybe feeling some disappointment because Neptune is in a square here with North Node, and it makes this sextile to Pluto and Venus. Like, I thought that this was the one who I was supposed to be with, or this was the forever job or forever home, and then it isn't anymore. And I think the important thing is not to view it as a personal failure. View it as a learning experience and something that made you stronger and helped you to figure out what is really important to you. And if it requires that you go through some personal changes, or you find new people or new places, then that's what it will be. And we definitely have the ability for growth toward new things and putting down new foundations under this Aquarius energy. So values are the important thing that may be changing, and money. Maybe you're just at the end of your wits, literally, because you're not making enough money, so something has to give, so you have to look at a different job or a different career. Taurus is very financially oriented, material oriented. It rules the second house of money, and we find that all the pressure is pointed toward planet of change and a planet of action in a sign that's very focused on values, worth, self-esteem, security, having enough, being enough, and you may need an attitude adjustment around that. You may just simply get fed up and decide that you are enough just as you are right now. And if other people don't accept that, then they don't need to be in your circle. So a lot of powerful stuff and extremes of emotion right now. The moon is in a dramatic sign. It can be very expressive and very colorful, and there can be outbursts, high energy, definitely. If you need to burn off some stress by getting physical, then go out and get physical, or maybe stay in and be physical. Exercise, burn it off, sweat a little bit, put on some music and dance. Basically move your body, and you will eliminate a lot of the stress and frustration that might be coming up around people or organizations, or resistance to changes. Any of that can create stress in the body. And I think a lot of people are still dealing with some kind of post-traumatic stress after what we've been through this past year in 2020 and what many people continue to go through as we go into 2021. And there are so many things that we still have to deal with. We still have to deal with, we can't just go out there and be free and hug everybody because we have COVID to think about and we have people's health and safety to consider. So there is a lot of pent-up energy at this full moon, and it can be both on the physical level and the mental level. And that would equate to move the stress out of you by getting physical. Take on a physical project, clean the house. If you are trying to make energy move in one particular area of your life and it's not, and you don't know how you can make it move, very often moving energy in another area of your life can make the changes occur. It's a perfect time, actually, for some feng shui around your house. Get rid of your clutter. You want love? Go put a flowering plant in the love corner of your house. You want more money? Put a little fountain with running water in the money corner of your house. Clean up that clutter. And then do the feng shui treatments and cures that are focused on shifting the energy in dormant and stagnant areas. And perhaps you will see things shift in your life after you make changes in your environment. Okay, let's take a look at the Sabian symbol and we have Mercury retrograding very soon, Saturday in the evening, and then I believe it's February 21st that it comes out of retrograde. So we're coming to that point where you want to start being careful about your appointments, about your conversations, about your emails. Basically, give yourself extra time to get anywhere, double check your tickets, double check your appointments, follow through on emails that do not get answered, and be careful about beginning anything new. Retrogrades are good times for going back over things and rethinking what you need to do individually. If you're going to start something new, or you recently did launch something new and it needs some recalibration, that's the time for it. And Aquarius energy, it is both very independent and self-oriented, and it's also about humanity as a whole, or the larger group or organization. So we have the idea of individuality and communal energy and what everybody does bring to the community, and how being our own personal, unique person is what makes up the greater, it's what you bring to the table, basically. So honoring and respecting your individuality, and maybe you need to revisit what that is exactly. And if you've fallen too far from your initial plans or goals in life and you are not being true to yourself, then finding out what is truth for you and what do you need to get back on track. Now let's go look at the Sabian symbol. So the Sabian symbol is really a beautiful one. We round up to 10 degrees of Leo. Early morning dew sparkles as sunlight floods the field. I feel like that just shows newness, dawn, awareness, the exalted feeling that rises within the soul of the individual who has successfully passed through the long night which has tested his strength and his faith. The cold air of night having precipitated upon the field of man's consciousness the moisture of his deepest feelings. Interesting. This widely spread dew is blessed with the light of significance by the rising sun of the new day. Even tears can be transformed into jewels in the light of victory over night and sorrow. At this fifth stage of the present sequence, we see the potential culmination of the process, which began on a note of social and cultural crisis. The would-be reformer has to meet many emotional problems as he begins his work of creation. Creation means transformation. The reformer is actually a transformer if he is truly a creative and inspired individual, open to the spirit that makes everything new. the building of a new society and of one's renewed personality as well, is just as much a process of artistic creation as the making of a delicate glass vase or a symphony. The key word is transfiguration. When we come out of the cold and dark, the idea of that moisture that comes out of it with the dew, it's taking what is fruitful or fertile out of that time of darkness or the hard times. And there always is something to be gained from them, even if they're not comfortable. We do get something, even if it's strength of character. But sometimes we find that silver lining to that cloud, or sometimes things improve radically because we have been through something that is challenging and it forced us to make changes. And once we get through that transitionary time period, we can move on to better things. There's also the idea here of awareness and creativity. So we have the intellectual awareness right now of Aquarius, which seeks truth and understanding and moves toward the future. And we have that in the sun right now in Jupiter. And we have the opposition at this full moon to the moon in very creative Leo. Leo rules that fifth house of creativity. Part of what's going on right now is choosing who you want to be and how you want to be seen by others, how you want to express yourself so other people know you to be who you profess to be. So fully embrace your creativity and do not be afraid to make changes, and seek for the truth of who you are. And it also contributes overall to the progress of society. All right, everybody, until we get to the new moon on February 11th, be safe, stay safe and healthy, and I will talk to you soon.